Hey everyone, welcome to Hey Sis, I Need to Vent. I'm Huizi.
And I'm Tracy.
And today I thought we'll just start with something a little bit different, a check-in, just to see how we're doing. There's so much going on around us. I think I just want to do a really quick check-in. So Tracy, I want you to tell me, how are you feeling personally, politically, and professionally at the minute?
Here you go asking me these questions like I'm on an interview. Girl, let me just tell you what he is, okay? I am a hot bundle of nerves right now. A hot bundle of nerves. Personally, I'm cool. I'm chilled. We're on a short, long weekend. So I'm just relaxing because I can't do much. I can't go out and I don't want to see myself on a train during these coronavirus times or a bus.
Absolutely.
So I'm indoors. Mm-hmm. And what was the other one? Personally, professionally, and
politically.
Well, don't get me started on politics. Guys, don't jump on me. But politics are not really my forte. I do know that I should indulge more in them to sound more cultured as well as to be more informed. But I haven't gotten to that place in my life yet. It is one of my goals for 2020, though, to be more politically aware of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a topic for another blog. Why, in terms of how you can feel apathetic when it comes to politics, especially in these times that we're living in with the Donald Trumps of the world, and the world really, in my perception, moving to be a lot more far right and less liberal. So that'll be a nice thing to interrogate. Okay, and then professionally, how's it feeling?
So I finally took the plunge. Hey, you have been encouraging me. You, as well as a number of people, have been encouraging me to just become a content creator. I'll put it out there like that. Create content, Tracy. You have a personality. You could really be I can see you on YouTube. I can see you doing this and that. And, I'm like, yeah, no, I'll do it someday. Well, someday was yesterday, hey?
It's brilliant.
Someday was yesterday. And I am feeling a hot mess. I feel like I have embarrassed the living daylights out of myself. Whew.
That's deep. That's really deep. And
it is.
I think that's really going to form the foundation of our conversation. But first of all, I'll give you my check-in in terms of how I'm feeling before we plunge into that web that you've created for yourself, and we can try and see if we can untangle you out of it. So how am I feeling?
No worry.
Yeah. How am I feeling? Personally, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling quite good. Actually, that's not true. No. Personally, I'm feeling a bit nervous. I'm feeling worried. And this is all linked to this coronavirus thing. So my mom's a nurse, and she's out there in hospitals working in the front line, looking after coronavirus patients. And last night I was watching the news, and I was just saying, it looks like it's just getting worse and it's not getting any better. And I'm really worried about my mom, that she doesn't contract it, especially when you see nurses dying and some doctors dying as well. I think so far in the UK, 3 doctors have, I don't know if it's 3 doctors who passed away and 2 nurses, or 2 doctors and 3 nurses. But either way, it's frightening and it's worrying. And I just keep saying to my mom, like, Mom, just come back home. We'll make a plan. We'll find a way to pay the mortgage. Like, you don't need to be putting yourself at risk. So I think personally, I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling really nervous. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling concerned. That's me personally. Professionally it's feeling okay. A little bit nervous as well, because around me I see people who are either losing their jobs or being furloughed because of this coronavirus issue. I recently started a secondment as a change manager, and really, really excited about it because it's a chance for me to move out of the career that I've been in since university, so for the last 6 years, and move into something completely new that I can challenge myself. So this pandemic has sort of happened at the wrong time because it's stagnating my growth in my new role and limiting the opportunities I have to develop and grow. So there's a bit of worry professionally about this secondment is for a year, but my plan was at the end of this year that I'd be able to continue in this path that I've chosen. But then I'm feeling a bit nervous that am I going to have the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence I need to be able to apply for other jobs in this change management field. So that's me professionally. And politically. Politically, I think right now all my political opinions are sort of wrapped up in how governments and states have responded to this coronavirus issue. The one thing that I'm finding absolutely shocking is some of the cultural references that are made and some really racist comments that have been made by leaders, like in relation to coronavirus. I feel like after this virus is gone, our communities are going to be a lot more divided than united. Minority ethnic groups are going to struggle a lot. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I think that's where we're at. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. So that's me.
I hear you. Did you hear of that case where the nurse in America, she quit her job on Facebook Live?
Whoa. No, I did not see that.
Yeah, she quit her job on Facebook Live because she had been sent to the wards, and then she's had prior health issues. She had just survived from breast cancer, and her manager knew that. And on top of that, she wasn't able to go home and self-quarantine because she had like 5 kids, I think, and her husband wasn't around for her to send the kids. So she felt set up, and then she publicly quit. But she doesn't regret her decision. She regrets doing it publicly.
What? But then you already did. That's the thing that I don't understand about people who make excuse me. That's the thing that
girl, you good over there.
Oh God, it's not the corona. I promise you, it's not the corona. It's phlegmy. Are you supposed to have a phlegmy cough if you if you have corona? Please don't say it's corona. But what I was saying was that that's the thing I never understand about people who do things on public platforms. You had the courage to do it in a public platform in the first place. So why now do you regret having done it that way?
I think it then comes back to the consequence. Like, I agree with you totally. Oversharing has become a thing that is really affecting our culture. People overshare, and then they forget that real life happens outside of social media. You're not going to be protected by social media, because once you turn those computers off, once you turn that Facebook Live or Instagram Live off, after you've ranted and raved and you weren't checking your words, there are real life consequences. So, I mean, I was adding to your issue where you were like, you had suggested to your mom that she should, take a step back for now, and then you guys could consider options. So it's food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely food for thought. Wow, great. So today's all about you, Tracy, and you taking the leap to pursue something that I think you've been wanting to do. A lot of people have wanted it for you. I know for one, I've always been encouraging you to pursue this particular thing because I really feel you have a talent and I really feel you have a voice that people want to hear. I want to give people a little bit of context around you and sort of your journey. The very first time, the thing that we're talking about her pursuing is either blogging or influencing or content creation. The very first time I ever say to Tracy that I think you need to document what you're doing is around 5 years ago when she moved from Botswana to Taiwan on can we call it like a placement or
it was an internship. Yeah, it was an international internship
to go teach English to Taiwanese kids. At the time, I really saw the uniqueness in what she was doing. You have a young woman from Africa going to an Asian country to teach English. And at the time, I was thinking about all the challenges that she should encounter as a Black woman, as an African. You don't really get that many Black African young women going to Asian countries to teach English, usually the face of those people are European, white. And then those are the people who usually go do this kinds of thing. And at the time when she was going to do this, I would say to her, Tracy, you need to blog. And I think I still have it in our WhatsApp conversations. Oh, I don't think it's for me. Maybe one day, maybe I'll think about it, blah, blah, blah. And she never really had the courage to do it. And even on her own social media platforms, Tracy wasn't a poster. She didn't post much. She just didn't really interact much with the, I guess, self-exhibitionism platforms that we have, which is a shame because she had some really incredible experiences, which I feel should have been shared and which I hope now that she has confidence to share. Now, 5 years down the line, Tracy is blossoming into this beautiful flower and starting to reach her potential, or start working towards her potential and being brave and finding her voice, which I think is incredible. But she started some Instagram pages for her to share her weight loss journey, which is so freaking inspirational. Guys, we will add the links to all the pages with the post so you can see it in the notes section. She has started her dieting, sharing a cooking page for her to share the amazing recipes that she does. Guys, you can eat and lose weight, and eat well and lose weight, which I find super inspirational and really, really exciting. And she's also started a YouTube page. But then with all these incredible initiatives that she's been brave enough to do, after she clicks the post button or the share button, a feeling of dread, is that right, Tracy, kind of consumes you, or a feeling of, oh my God, did I really just do this, comes to her. And if you'd listened earlier, what she said, that she kind of feels, did you say professionally you're feeling?
I think I had said that I was feeling panicky. I'm not sure. Girl, it was a minute ago, but I was definitely in a state of panic right now, in dread, like, oh my God, I have totally embarrassed and humiliated myself.
Feeling embarrassed. I feel like I've totally embarrassed and humiliated myself. So that's something that I was really keen to explore in this episode. Essentially, why are we afraid to chase our dreams, and why are we afraid to see them through? So Tracy, I'm just going to hand it over to you. I think we need to start at the very beginning. What's the thing that motivated you to do what you're doing?
Well, Huitzi, how do I put this? I've always been a person who felt creative, but at the same time very logical. I cannot draw for crap. I cannot draw at all. I cannot paint. I'm not one of those type of people, but I've always felt that I could share a lot of my personality through my content, be it photos. I personally feel like take pretty good, cute photos. Be it cooking. At some point, I wanted to be a singer. You know, we all have those crazy dreams.
I've been there.
But I never fulfilled them. I've been told that I can dance, but I have this weird facial expression when I do it. Like, everyone was like, dang, you can really move. But, you know, you keep pulling these. You know how you're in the mood and you have that face like, yes, I'm slaying it. I don't know if it's an African thing or a black thing. So basically, my point is I've always felt creatively inclined. But how do I put this? It's strange because I have never felt confident enough to share that on a large platform. But I also consider myself to be a confident person.
That's interesting.
Does that make sense?
You consider yourself on a confident person, but then you don't feel confident enough to share your creativity or to share that side of your personality with people.
Exactly.
Why is that though? Why do you not feel confident to share that extroverted side of, because it's just I think you are introverted, but also
I am introverted
extrovert as well in your creative output. The things that you put out creatively would sort of marry up very well with an extroverted personality. So what is it that makes you not confident to show that side of yourself to people?
You actually added a whole nother factor to that. Well, in all honesty, part of my introverted nature led me to not having a lot of friends. And I know friends aren't the key to, you don't need a lot of friends. You should have a very small circle. We talked about this on last week's episode. You're not determined by the number of friends you have, because relationships could be important. But the reality is, for you to grow in industries or in areas such as creatively, you need what? An audience. And me not being that social butterfly from high school, not even high school, from senior high school throughout university, I feel is going to lead to me posting some beautiful content, but not having anyone who's interested in it, because I don't have the friends to hit the like button, to hit the share button. There's this girl who was super extroverted. She's really nice, by the way. We've been talking recently about weight loss and stuff. She's inspired workouts and diets and all that stuff. And I saw one of her Facebook posts. She literally just posted a selfie. Ask me how many likes she got.
Wow.
More than 600. And she's not even a content creator, literally just from her social circles. And I'm like, dang, I'm going to post a selfie of myself and I'm just going to get 5 likes. And then the people who never really like me are going to be keying in the background like, hey, what was she trying to do?
It's interesting you say that. Have you ever heard the expression that your biggest supporters will be strangers and not your family and friends?
I have heard that, funny enough. I have heard that, and I'm going to be honest, girl, I'm not going to put up a front. I heard that from you, because I've had this conversation with you before where I had actually started considering stepping out of my comfort zone and posting creative content, even just creating a personal Instagram page. And I think that's one of the reasons why I never really had a lot of social media accounts, was my fear of enough engagement, as well as having, self-image issues and all that stuff. I went ghost on Facebook. I only came back this year. I never had an Instagram account. I literally created all my Instagram this year. And YouTube, I used to post personal videos on YouTube, but guess what? They were always on private. But back to your point of, did you know that your biggest supporters are not going to be your friends and family? That is true. That is very, very, very true.
I think that's the reality of people who are starting a business, people who are starting content creation like you are. The people around you will never be your loudest supporter. Don't get me wrong, your mom will be. Your mama is going to be cheering you on from the sidelines. That's if she can access it. But even if she can't access it, she's so excited for you that you're doing it, and she's always going to be a cheerleader. Your brother and sister may be jealous, but they will support you all along the way. But I think the reality is, when we start being brave and we start to take that leap and pursue our dreams, you are kind of taking that chance. You're asking to be loved. You're asking for people to appreciate you. You're asking to value you. And it's a risk, because at the same time, you're taking the risk for people to shun you and not like you, to reject you. So I think this brings me to the next step, is in terms of you sort of said that, everybody who's following me isn't supporting me. Part of that could also be the fact that actually you went ghost on social media platforms for a very long time, and people just don't know you that well.
That's true.
If you think about who forms your social networks, these are people you went to school with, you grew up with in bots, you went to university with. But girl, for the last 5 years, you've been in a different country. Your reality is very different to theirs. And they just haven't been checking for you that way.
I'm nodding
about the way social media works. And I always wonder that as well. With the many people that people follow, is there something, I don't know, in the algorithm or in the way that this social stuff works, that when somebody doesn't post for a long time and you follow them, do they go down in the ranking of the people whose posts you'll notice? So it could be a little bit part of that if you're thinking about, my network isn't supporting me. But then there are other things as well that I think you should think about, that sometimes your friends and family can be intimidated by us, that they're looking at you, taking a leap, you're stepping into your power, and they don't recognize that side of you. They don't recognize Tracy as being that person. And first of all, they find it surprising because they also wish they had the courage to do the things that you're doing. So they're sort of wondering, oh, why is she so confident? Who does she think she is? Because they're looking at you very much as old Tracy, the Tracy that they used to know when they were in school, they were in college, who was introverted, who was quiet, who wasn't the most popular girl in the school. So now they're looking at you like, oh, who is she trying to be? Look at her. They're kikiing.
Can I add on to that point right there? The crab mentality in our community is ridiculous. In life is ridiculous. The holding down the other crab because the other crab wants to climb out of the battle type of thing. I just can't. One thing about me is I've never been a person who looks at other people and I will be envious to the point of feeling that I need to spite your journey because I don't want you to succeed. I always wish everyone well. If I don't check for you, I don't check for you. Hey, there's a difference. But if I check for you, or even if I have no issues with you, I love it when everyone is winning. There is nothing as annoying in this day and age as people not supporting each other. And can I say something? I didn't want to go into it, but you brought it up. This is why I intervened. Our Black community needs to do better.
Preach!
I didn't want to touch it because I don't want to be that person, but I am going to speak on it. You brought it. You didn't bring it up. Let me not put it on you. Huizi. I literally have joined Instagram. I have started showing my body transformation pics. Ask me the majority of the people who like that.
It's the Caucasian
white people. It's our white people. And thank you to you guys, because you know what the painful thing is during this journey of mine, trying to become more extroverted and to post my content. One thing I wanted to tell myself, and if you realized it, I had told myself that I want to become more aware of being Black, more woke, more passionate about embracing my culture as well as my skin. Because as much as I am not facing extreme racism as people in Western countries, as we've talked about this before, there was a point when we were growing up and you would talk about racism in the UK, and I'm just like, girl, I'm sorry you're experiencing that, but I can relate because I am growing up in a majority of Black people, right? The painful thing I have come to realize is that Black community, which is supposed to support each other and to build each other, is not there at all. I get majority likes from white people. My follows are now white people. And I'm just like, y'all, I literally hashtags like Black girl fitness, melanin inspiration, melanin popping, Black girl weight loss journey. It is so ridiculous and painful. And at the same time, I'm like, so am I supposed to just disconnect with my Blackness and go with the all lives matter type of thing? Not that I'm not saying that people aren't facing injustice in America, but if y'all are not going to support me, what's the point of me reaching out to you with open arms, but you're not giving me love and I'm receiving it from over there?
Girl, I think it's weird. It's a contentious topic if we just pick up the point about social media for a second. It's a very contentious topic because there are other people that will tell you that Black Twitter, Black Instagram, they're my biggest supporters. Like, they're the people who support me and they're there for me. And there is a certain element of that. I think there's definitely a certain element of that. But just thinking about that Black crabs in a barrel mentality, I think the Black community in particular, that's really embedded or is woven into the fibre of who we are because of the history and the heritage of where we're coming from, the pathology of us as Black people. We were taught to tear each other down, to see the other as better because of the history of colonialism, the history of slavery. That's just the path that we've been on. So it's sort of woven into who we are.
That's true.
People often are happy to see you when you're down in the pits with them. But when you now try and pull yourself out of it or try and escape it, they usually are the ones that are trying to pull you down. But then I think it's important to realize that, especially for friends and family sometimes, that pulling you down, they're not doing it consciously, or they're not doing it consciously, and they're not doing it with negative intent. Sometimes it could be like, what's Tracy doing? Guys, let's help her come back down to earth. We don't want her to embarrass herself, or we don't want her to get her hopes too high. They think they're protecting you, like especially with friends and family. Sometimes they think they're protecting you from the shame, or they're protecting you from embarrassment. I don't know if there's a word like this in Setswana, but in Kalanga, my language, they usually say, khuza mwana unozvitisa unozviyanyika.
Is that relax?
So that sort of, in English, I guess that would translate to not discipline the child, but advise the child. They're going to embarrass themselves. They are going to embarrass us. What are they doing? Tell them to restrain themselves. Also, yeah, that's it. Restrain the child. And then that restraint is that like, you, what are you doing? You're gonna embarrass yourself, or what are you doing? Yeah,
trying to fly.
Embarrass us. So that's like that's a big thing. And I think sometimes that's where people are coming from as well, when they're sort of like, maybe they're not supporting you, or they're not liking your posts. But then at the same time, I think we go back to that thing that we're talking about, that actually the new you is someone that they don't recognize, and it's someone they're going to have to get to know. They'll have to get to know that new you that you're being, because actually, Tracy, they're not used to seeing you being who you are. And I guess the question that's coming to my head is that, yes, you want validation from your friends and family, but are your friends and family the ones who are going to help you reach your full potential and the best you?
No, they aren't. No, they aren't, because in all honesty, if you like, I've literally zoned out. I'm in serious mode. In all honesty, they're not going to be able to provide me with the tools or motivation that I'm going to need on the journey that I want to take in becoming a content creator and an influencer, if you sit down and think about it. I think what's more so hurts for me is the fact that even though you know that people aren't necessarily the ones who can give you what you need, you still want, like you had said earlier, to feel validated, or you still want to feel like you're part of that community of, we're here for you, sis. We are behind you as your community. And then the realization that you cannot depend on your community is what more so is hurting my feelings / instilling the fear, because if these exact people are the ones I can't count on, then I am literally throwing myself into the wilderness to the wolves, who I have no idea if they're going to receive me or not. But all I can do is hope for the best.
You need to build your tribe. And your tribe isn't going to be the people that you start with. Have you ever heard that the people you start with are not always the people you finish with?
I think you said that,
I didn't say it. Somebody else said it. But I probably said it back to you. But then, like, the people you start with aren't the people you finish with. And now, as you're going through this content creation journey, you need to find your tribe. You need to find your people. You need to find people who are invested in your content and in what you're doing, and who can relate to it, and you will find those people. And I think the thing to take away just from this point, when we're just talking about your friends and family aren't the ones who can be intimidated by you, don't allow that lack of support from them to stop you being your best self, and to stop you from pursuing what you want to do, because, girl, they're just not your tribe. And to be honest, when you're creating your content, are you targeting them, or are you targeting people who are similar to you, people who've gone through a weight loss journey, people who have moved to a new country,
people who are interested in learning new recipes,
trying to reach? And I think for you, it's just thinking about, okay, great, so with my content, I'm posting it on my social platforms, it's not really hitting. Okay, let me open up my social platforms, make them public. Am I getting the SEO right? Am I getting the audience targeting right? It's now thinking from that mindset and from that marketing perspective in terms of, how can I grow my audience? Yes, you can.
I'm nodding.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
nodding. I
so
hear
yes,
you.
You can. Yeah, absolutely. You're completely validated to expect the likes that come through to be from your Facebook friends or your Instagram followers. But that won't always be the case, because, yeah, it's a painful truth. But some of them are looking at it like, hey, look at what Tracy's doing. Screen grab, share. And don't think they're not sharing. They are sharing. Because as soon as they see it, they'll screen grab it. Send to Bruce, send to Kelly, send to Cousin B. Look what Tracy's doing. Who does she think she is? They are sharing. So don't think your content isn't being seen. It's being seen, but then what they're doing is just not translating to the likes on your page that you want to see.
That's very
and
true.
That's the truth. So your content is 100% being seen. Like, I've been through this journey before. I don't know if you remember that I used to write blogs and stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You also had the payloads and the cushions that are really good.
But
girl,
because
you also need to promote.
Like, the people in my immediate circle never reacted to it. I kind of thought, oh, I'm shit. Like, people, and I guess lack of people's belief in me, which is really sad, because I was looking for validation from outside, has stopped me from pursuing my dreams. It made me believe that, oh, maybe I'm not that good a writer. Maybe I need to leave it alone. Maybe I'm just making a fool out of myself. So I guess the lesson in this section is just that
don't seek validation from the people closest to you. Believe in your dream, believe in your journey, believe in yourself. Know that you're gonna make it, but don't necessarily base your success off of those people. Based off of what?
So
based off of your community.
You're not always gonna get that validation from your community. You might need to go somewhere else. So I think it's what we're saying here is you need to live your life in a way that makes you feel truly happy when you go to bed every day? Do you feel like I, Tracy, have lived my life to the fullest extent that I want to live it? And you will find your tribe and you will build your tribe. And the people that will come and join your tribe are the people who will appreciate the courage that you have, and they'll light up the way for you, because those are the people who will be sharing, who will be commenting, who will be engaging with your content. So it's going to come. It may take time, but
Amen
it will
to that,
definitely come. And I guess the other side of it as well that we briefly mentioned is that maybe why your friends and family aren't the ones who are jumping up and down and, woo, Tracy! I think we touched on this briefly, but you are expressing a side of yourself that they wish they could, but then for some reason that they can't. They feel that they can't do it. Or they've tried to do it before and they failed, so they're just like, hey, let's try. Let's try. We've also been there. We've also been there. Who didn't want to be a YouTube star?
She will learn. She will learn.
There's a million YouTube stars out there. What makes her think she's so special? You know? So there definitely, there's some people who are going to feel that way. And I think it's for you to also realize that, yeah, there are people who are saying those things. There are people who think I'm crazy. But you know what? I'm going to be happy in my crazy. And I'm going to just go with it. That not everybody is going to match your vibe.
Amen to that. Yeah. Amen to that, girl. I'm literally just nodding here. Part of me is like, should we be moving this podcast to a video? Because I'm here.
I think that's it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And so your fear. So you're saying that you're fearing that fear and dread because the people around you aren't embracing it. But what are the other reasons? Comparing yourself to other people?
So based off of my response from my audience, of course, I am comparing myself to other people. But based off of my content, all I am honestly doing is looking at my content and learning from it each and every day. I'm just like, oh, I could do that better. Oh, I could do this better. Oh, okay, that looks good. Like as I was editing for the first time yesterday, like that long video that I posted on YouTube, how to make a easy papaya smoothie bowl, people. It was pretty tasty. I was just like, okay, Tracy.
Exactly.
Okay, I see you, girl, with your editing. I was not comparing myself to anyone at all because it brought me sincere joy that I was doing something that I felt passionate about. So no, I'm definitely not comparing myself to anyone. I don't know. Call this weird, and like, please leave a comment below. I have been given the option to follow other pages, like on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and YouTube. I don't want to follow people that have similar content to me because I don't want to feel that I am imposing their material on myself. I just want to keep it authentic. And then, of course, when I remake recipes, I'm going to go on and, like, oh, I got this recipe from Steve. Go follow Steve. But I'm not more so in competition. I'm more so in self-development. That's the goal for my 2020.
Yeah, that's, and I think that's the biggest thing, because sometimes something that can hold us back is that comparison and comparing ourselves to other people. And comparison can stop you being your best self or pursuing your dreams, because you'll be thinking that, oh, look at that person. Oh, they're getting like 1,000 views. I'm not getting anything. But I think you just need to recognize within yourself that you've got your own journey, and you need to pursue your own journey, and just walk your own path. And all our paths are different, and your path will eventually get you to the destination where you want to go.
Amen. I think there's something, a saying your dad likes to say.
Oh, that's my dad's
staying in my own lane.
Staying in my own lane. Yeah.
Mine really, really hits. It still hits for me today. And then another one, I think my WhatsApp status is, you don't have to get it. All that matters is that I do. So I'm definitely making sure that I, like, to add on to your point of making sure that you are true to yourself and you're following your calling and whatever. That has always been
that's
my
really
goal.
key what you just said there. So you're already using affirmations that are showing the right attitude.
Exactly.
Because you are staying in your lane and you're going to do what works for your lane. And you don't need to get it, but I get it.
Yes.
And that's what's important. So just there, you're saying the right things to yourselves and yourself, and you're saying the right affirmations to yourself. But are you believing it? Because if you truly believe those things, those affirmations, I'm staying in my lane, you don't have to get the content I'm creating, but I get it. If you truly believe that, then where does that fear come from?
Fear of failure, girl. Fear of failure, not only in the sense of getting it from community, but just generally failing. That has always been one of my biggest weaknesses. I never did things because I was afraid of failing in them. So, for example, show a guy that I was interested. Of course, I've been taught that you don't take the lead, but just to put myself out there in a relationship. Now, this is going completely left. But the fear of that person not
reciprocating.
Reciprocating?
English is not
my mother, but thank you.
Hashtag
I do not teacher. It's a learning basics, so don't judge me, y'all. Anyway, let me hold it. Basically, just that fear of not being accepted. I'm scared to say the word. What was the word again, girl?
Reciprocated, yeah.
Reciprocating. All right. But just that fear of reciprocating, of not being reciprocated, is what has held me back. You can join this art contest. Just embarrassing myself and not winning. I am a very competitive person in the sense that I love to win. I'm not competitive in the sense that I compete with myself. And knowing that I'm going to fail really scares the living daylights out of me. So as much as I get it and I know that it's all about staying in my lane, I am afraid of not succeeding. More so to the point where I don't even do anything. I don't put out content. I don't show myself.
That's interesting. Have you ever heard, when we're just talking about fear of failure, like you just talked about, we all have fear of failure. That's a genuine thing. We really all have it. But more recently, like I mentioned to you, I've been doing this leadership development course. And then part of it was that they were saying in your teams, you need to create a culture of failure. And there needs to be joy in doing things badly because when you fail, you learn. So with failure, you learn. And this is something that my husband is always telling me as well, because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be 100% perfect. And then Titch always says to me, Kwezi, there is nobody who is perfect. You can't be good at everything. That's and true. You need to fail. And sometimes you will fail and it's okay to fail. But the most important thing is that you tried. And hopefully you learn from it. So I don't think you need, like I'm saying this to you, but it's something that I'm also learning myself, is that you need to find a joy in doing things badly, because from doing things badly, you learn. Earlier, you said that I'm not comparing myself to anyone else. I'm comparing myself to myself, in the sense that when I review my content, I learn things and I think, oh, okay, that wasn't so good. I need to change this for the next one or whatever. So yes, you're noting the things that are wrong, but you're learning from them. And I think it's just a shift in mindset that fear of failure shouldn't be something that forces you to sit down and stop doing what you're doing, but instead it should be something that challenges you and pushes you to be better. Exactly.
To do better. I don't know if you can hear those snaps. I hear you.
And I think that's all I can really say on that one. And then another thing as well that we briefly touched upon in our WhatsApp talk chat was around imposter syndrome. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. I think people usually think of imposter syndrome in terms of being at work and in your role, that, oh gosh, I can't do this job. Oh, should I really be here? I'm not qualified enough. Oh gosh, somebody else is better than me. Or oh, I don't really deserve this success. Oh, I'm a fraud. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's not.
I'm putting up a face, but then who I am.
Imposter syndrome isn't just at work, Tracy. Imposter syndrome can even happen in things like content creation. Like, yes, you may not have colleagues or people in a room that you have to speak in front of, but you have this global audience that you're trying to engage with, and you are in a very competitive space because there are loads of other influencers and content creators out there, that sometimes you can be taking the leap to join them, but at the same time be hesitant because you sort of feel like, oh, am I as good as Kobolko? Sorry, that's the only person I can think of. Yeah.
Am I as good as Luffy? As good as Beast to Beast? Basically, all these people. That's very
so like
true.
You could have an element of that, but then you're not necessarily recognizing that.
That makes sense. That actually does, especially in this huge, like, I don't think it's more so imposter syndrome for me. I think it's more so I have put myself into a huge pool, a very huge pool. And it's more so the fear of not being identified because I am in such a large mass. So I'm not more so comparing myself to the other YouTubers, or I am not saying that I am not worthy to be at that level. It's more so because I have thrown myself into such a huge tank. Am I unique enough to stand out and also have my moment?
That's interesting.
That's what my fear is.
Enough to stand out and have my moment. I think I think as human beings we're all unique, and there's always something unique in us. And I think the success of social influencers and content creators is that they are all unique in their own way. There's no one content creator that's completely the same. So it's just for you to be true to yourself, because there's no other Tracy, there's nobody else like you. So if you are 100% you and you don't try to be anything else, I think you will be unique enough, and I think you will be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. Because that, even in itself, that's a bit of imposter syndrome as well. That you're like, oh God, maybe I'm just a regular, but actually you're not. Everybody's got something that's special and that's unique about them, and I think you need to turn that imposter syndrome into a positive energy and a positive push to take you to the next level. I'm just looking here. There's this really cool quote or something that Michelle Obama, Mama O, said. It says, imposter syndrome it's a thing in your head. And it's just like self-confidence is just like any internal characteristic. Much of it is what you practice telling yourself. If you've heard that you're not good enough, that's what you're practicing. It's just here to tell you it is not true. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't belong here. Let me read that again. Imposter syndrome it's a thing in your head, and it's just like self-confidence. It's just an internal characteristic. Much of it is what you practice telling yourself. If you've heard that you're not good enough, that's what you're practicing. It's just here to tell you it's not true. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't belong here.
Why am I tearing up? Okay.
And that's the really key thing. You are not the sum of where you come from doesn't dictate where you're going. What people have said about you in the past isn't true, and it isn't who you are. How you're feeling about yourself inside, that fear, it's not real. There's something that I once saw before that says fear is false evidence appearing real.
I've heard that one.
F is for false, E evidence, A appearing, and R real. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So that's a really important thing, and I think it's something that's really key, that to tell yourself in those moments that you're feeling scared when you post your post. Yes, it's natural to feel scared and to feel nervous, but then sometimes take a step back and think about, why am I feeling this way? What evidence do I even have to think that this isn't good enough, or it's not going to hit the way it's supposed to hit?
Rationalizing your fear.
I think that's the really key thing.
I agree. I hear you. I'm getting emotional. Okay.
Yeah, that's just it. So I guess in how you're feeling with everything that you're doing, Tracy, I think the answer is that it's courage. It's having courage in what you want to do. And I know I'm giving this advice, but it's not like I'm living it as well. And I'm actually giving myself advice. It's having courage, realizing that fear is just false evidence appearing real, recognizing that you need to build your tribe, and your tribe is not always going to be in your friends and family.
Yes.
Exactly.
Immediate
and
circle.
Just broadening your horizons and staying consistent. And because you will knock and hit those and hashtag the life out of stuff. But one day, one of those hashtags is going to hit.
It's going to hit the right person. So, girl, I'm going to turn this around on you. And I hope you don't throw me a fire WhatsApp after this. Based off of this information that you've given me, and 2020 being the year of growth and 2020 vision, coronavirus aside, we're still developing, we're still growing. How are you going to take this and implement it in your life? And I want you to share your moment of fear of failure, because I feel like, the beauty in life is we are people that have our own issues. Not even the beauty. I don't know how to put this. Let me say it more so, the wisest people also have that moment of weakness. So if you don't mind some of your weaknesses so that people can be like, okay, this girl is out here, she's preaching, everything is perfect for her. But if you don't mind showing your journey and how you want to overcome your fears, I think that would also be the best advice.
And those who can't teach. I definitely don't want to live that. That is not who I want to be. And I have fears, and a lot of fear is that anxiety and that social anxiety that we talked about in the last episode. There's a lot of things that I want to do, and I just haven't finished because I'm scared. I started so many blogs, and because they weren't hitting and people weren't really picking it up, I've deleted the blogs and just not done anything with it. And I really regret that, because I wish I'd stayed consistent with it. And it's something that I'll definitely love to pick up again. But of late, I've sort of lost my mojo to write and my excitement and my inspiration to do it. But it's something that I definitely want to do. This podcast is something that I've been talking about doing for such a long time. But again, I don't remember. I don't know if you remember. Was it last week that I was like, I'm not good at doing things by myself. I need somebody to hold my hand. And I thank you for being.
I remember that.
I thank you for being that person who's so holding my hand on this journey. But I've always wanted to do this for a long time. And the one thing that's held me back is waiting for someone to come hold my hand and do it with me. And I'm so glad that I have you. And you've always been that person for me that I can talk to about anything. And you give me really solid, non-judgmental advice. And that's something that I've always truly valued. So in this year of 2020, as we are getting more courage to do things, I am putting myself out there. I'm doing things that I've never done before. Professionally, I mentioned earlier that I've started this secondment. It was such a leap because I've moved into an area that I'm not familiar with at all, and I'm learning. And that took a lot of courage for me to be able to do, because it meant bearing that self-doubt and just taking and betting on myself and taking that leap. And it feels like it's paying off. I'm really glad. At work as well, I have I'm now a BAME co-chair. So BAME stands for Black, Asian and Minority Ethnic Network. It's like an employee network so that we can influence and create safe and brave spaces for Black, Asian and minority ethnic group colleagues. People of color, girl, within the workplace. And being a co-chair is a real leap for me, because I'm really putting myself out there to be at the forefront and to be the face of something. And that's something that doesn't come easy for me. It's a challenge. I feel nervous with every email I send, and I'm even so more nervous that I'm going to have to stand in front of all these people and be their representative. It's something that doesn't come naturally to me, but I've really put myself in the firing line, and I'm having that confidence. I'm opening myself to the fact that people will have criticisms and people will always have something to say. But what matters the most is that I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying and I'm going against my fears and my anxiety, and really tackling it head on through being proactive. Away from work, just with my side hustles. I'm really trying with this. I really hope this podcast hits. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep recording episodes and talking. I'm super anxious. As you know, we haven't shared any of the episodes yet. I've only shared it with a few trusted friends, or one trusted friend. I haven't shared it that widely, but I'm going to start sharing it. I want to do my research and make sure that we really get it right. And I think the true value in this podcast are the really authentic conversations that we're having. And I've always felt that we need to share these conversations a lot more widely, because I know that we're not the only ones who are feeling this way. There are other people out there who are feeling this way, and
that's true. We
can also add to the conversation and hopefully inspire others. I want to start writing again, and maybe start a blog or something. But yeah, there's a lot that I want to do. It's just having the courage and making time to do it. And that's the other thing as well. Sometimes when you feel nervous about things, or you don't have the courage to do certain things, you don't end up making the time for it.
Exactly, because time is more so, it's a state of mind. You make time for the things you want to make time for. You should never say time. But sorry, go continue.
So yeah, I think that's me. That's my response, really. I am.
I hear you. What about the question?
The questions, I need to find that box. But yeah, so for context, guys, I traveled to Bangladesh, so I think it's like 6 years ago. And when I was there, found this organization that made these beautiful sort of fabrics and turned them into cushion covers. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but anyway. Bed linen, just absolutely stunning, and it's all by women who have escaped domestic violence, and this organization takes them in and teaches them skills to be able to fend for themselves. So I bought them and I brought them back with me, and the plan was that I was going to, sell them, because beautiful things. I think people would really appreciate them. Photographed a few of them, but nobody put them on Etsy, put them on different platforms on eBay and everything, but nobody really wanted to buy them, and I never really pursued it any further. I really want to try and pick them up again, and I really try to do it. So yeah, that's also something that's in the works, and something that I was going to suggest to Tracy is that I think we need to have a virtual vision boarding session. I know people did their vision boards at the start of the new year, but there's absolutely no reason why we can't start our vision boards 4 months into the year.
I agree. Plus, the year keeps changing. The year keeps developing. Like,
exactly.
It's basically a new year, girl.
Absolutely.
It don't matter.
And I feel like coronavirus is going to give us a new start when we're finally out of this social isolation. It's going to be like a new January. Yeah,
that is very true.
It'd be cool to do something like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's me. I really want to try and step into myself. I'm turning 30 this year, and I refuse going to the year of 30 being that scared, introverted, wrapped in fear. I want to step into my 30s as a brave woman who is actively pursuing her dreams and knocking down doors and really making it. That's who I want to be in my year of 30. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Tracy, massive thanks for your vulnerability, your honesty, and just your transparency, sharing your journey with us. I've gained so much, and I hope that you guys have too. Please join in on the conversation. Comment, share, drop us a voice note. You can find the podcast on various platforms, including Spotify and, of course, Anchor FM. I look forward to you guys joining us next time. Till then, stay safe. Bye-bye.